Hola amigos, bienvenidos de nuevo al canal. Me alegra muchísimo tenerlos por aquí. Hoy vamos a aprender inglés usando una técnica especial llamada shadowing. Tal vez te estés preguntando, ¿qué es shadowing? Bueno, te lo explico. El shadowing consiste en escuchar a alguien hablar en inglés e intentar repetir lo que dice, exactamente con el mismo tono, ritmo y pronunciación. Es una excelente manera de mejorar tu pronunciación, entonación e incluso tu comprensión auditiva. Básicamente, es como si fueras una sombra que repite cada palabra al instante. Así es como puedes usar este video para practicar. Primero, escucha mientras leo una historia. Todas las palabras van a aparecer en pantalla para que puedas seguir el texto. Después, intenta repetir conmigo, imitando mi tono y ritmo lo mejor que puedas. Y no te preocupes si no te sale perfecto al principio. La práctica hace al maestro. Antes de empezar, quiero contarte por qué elegí esta historia. La escuché hace poco y me pareció perfecta para compartir con ustedes. Es interesante, útil, y está escrita en un inglés claro y sencillo. Eso te va a permitir concentrarte en entender bien las palabras y practicar tu forma de hablar. Esto es lo que vamos a hacer. Primero leeré la historia de forma lenta y clara, y tú podrás seguir el texto en la pantalla. Luego tendrás la oportunidad de repetir cada frase conmigo. Es una manera genial de practicar tus habilidades de escucha, pronunciación y lectura, todo al mismo tiempo. ¿Listo para escuchar la historia? Vamos allá. Love your neighbor as yourself. These words from Matthew 22:39 carry immense power and depth. Jesus spoke them as part of the greatest commandments, summarizing the entire law and the prophets. Loving others isn't just a feeling, it's a daily action. It means treating people with the same care, dignity, and patience you want for yourself. This kind of love reaches beyond emotions. It calls for respect, compassion, and responsibility. Whether it's a stranger or someone close, loving your neighbor is a reflection of God's love through your life. It begins with a kind word, a patient heart, or a helping hand. Love is not always easy, especially when others hurt us or act unjustly. But true love is sacrificial. It gives, even when it's uncomfortable. The command doesn't say, love those who deserve it, but simply, love your neighbor. That includes everyone, the poor, the rich, the kind, the rude, the friend, and the enemy. God's love makes no exceptions, neither should ours. When we love others well, we reveal God to the world. To love your neighbor as yourself, you first have to understand what love truly is. The Bible describes love as patient, kind, not jealous, not boastful, not proud, and not selfish. It doesn't easily anger, keeps no record of wrongs, and always protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres. 1 Corinthians 13. This kind of love isn't natural to us, it's supernatural. It comes from God and grows in us through a relationship with Him. When you begin to see people through God's eyes, love becomes your natural response. You begin to notice the needs of others instead of focusing only on your own. You become slower to judge and quicker to listen. You forgive more easily, speak more gently, and serve more freely. Loving your neighbor is not about perfection. It's about pursuit. It's about choosing every day to act in kindness, even when it's inconvenient. You don't have to agree with someone to love them. Love doesn't mean approval. It means presence. It means you stand beside others, not above them. You become light in dark places. You become hope where there was none. Jesus modeled this love throughout his ministry. He didn't just talk about love, he lived it. He touched lepers, forgave sinners, ate with tax collectors, and honored women and children in a society that often overlooked them. He crossed cultural, religious, and social boundaries to show that no one is beyond the reach of love. His entire life was a demonstration of loving one's neighbor. Even on the cross, he prayed for his enemies, asking God to forgive them. What does this mean for us? It means that loving our neighbor is not optional. It's essential. It is the very heart of the gospel. We cannot claim to love God and hate our neighbor. 1 John 4:20 says, "If anyone says, 'I love God,' yet hates his brother or sister, he is a liar." This kind of truth is challenging but necessary. It pushes us to examine our hearts. Do we only love those who are easy to love? Or do we allow God to stretch our love to include those who test our patience and challenge our beliefs? That is where love becomes real. In today's world, loving your neighbor can be radical. We live in a culture of division, judgment, and selfishness. Social media promotes conflict more than connection. News headlines stir fear more than faith. But when you choose to love, you stand out. You become different. You become a reflection of the kingdom of God. Love breaks walls that hate builds. Love listens instead of shouting. Love seeks understanding rather than victory. Loving your neighbor means seeing beyond labels, politics, and backgrounds. It means recognizing that every person carries the image of God. When we love, we participate in God's redemptive work. Every smile, every kind word, every act of generosity plants a seed of hope. Love is not always grand or loud. Sometimes it's simply sitting with someone who feels alone. Sometimes it's giving your time, your food, or your ear. We may not change the whole world in a day, but we can change someone's world with one act of love. Loving your neighbor also means loving those who are difficult to love. It includes the people who have hurt you, ignored you, or treated you unfairly. Jesus said in Matthew 5:44, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." This is one of the hardest teachings in the Bible, yet it is one of the most powerful. When you choose to forgive and show kindness to someone who doesn't deserve it, you reflect the very heart of Christ. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing wrongs. It means releasing bitterness and choosing peace. It means setting your heart free from the prison of anger. This kind of love requires strength, not weakness. It takes courage to respond, to hate with grace. But this is the way of the kingdom. It's not about winning arguments. It's about winning hearts. And often, the greatest testimony you can give is to love someone who expects judgment. That kind of love transforms lives. It disarms hatred, it opens doors for healing, and it brings peace where there was once only pain. True love also involves action. It is not enough to say, "I love my neighbor," without doing anything for them. 1 John 3:18 says, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions, and in truth." Love must be visible. It must move you to serve, to give, to help. Look around you. There are people in need everywhere. Some need food. Others need friendship. Some are burdened with anxiety or grief. Others are quietly battling loneliness. You may not be able to fix every problem, but you can be present. You can share what you have. You can offer encouragement, support, or prayer. You can volunteer your time or simply show up when someone needs you. Love acts. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment, it creates one. It doesn't need applause, it finds joy in giving. God loved the world so much that He gave His Son. In the same way, love should move us to give of ourselves, our resources, and our time. That's what it means to love like Jesus. Loving your neighbor can transform entire communities. When people feel seen, valued, and cared for, something shifts in the atmosphere. Fear gives way to trust. Isolation turns into connection. Conflict is softened by compassion. Imagine what your neighborhood would look like if everyone loved like Jesus taught. Fewer arguments, more understanding, less gossip, more encouragement. Instead of suspicion, there would be trust. That change begins with you. You may be the only Bible someone ever reads. Through your actions, people can begin to understand the nature of God. Your love might inspire others to do the same. A kind deed can ripple through a family, a school, a workplace, or a city. It doesn't take fame or fortune, just a willing heart. You don't need a platform, you need love in action. So let your home be a place of welcome. Let your voice be one of peace. Let your life be a reflection of God's love. That's how the world begins to change. One neighbor at a time. Finally, loving your neighbor brings joy, not just to others, but to yourself. When you give love, you experience a deeper purpose. Your heart opens, your perspective shifts. You begin to live not just for yourself, but for something greater. Jesus said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Acts 20:35. That's because in giving, we become more like Him. We were created for love. It's what connects us, heals us, and completes us. When we love, we align ourselves with the heart of God. Even small acts, like holding a door, sending a message, or making someone laugh, carry eternal value. Love never fails. It outlives fame, wealth, and even time. So don't wait for a special occasion. Start today. Look someone in the eyes and truly listen. Send a message of encouragement. Forgive someone who hurt you. Give to someone in need. Speak life. Be generous. And remember, when you love your neighbor, you are walking in the very footsteps of Christ. The command to love your neighbor as yourself is not just a rule, it's a calling. It's an invitation to live differently, to live fully, and to live for something beyond yourself. When we love others, we walk in obedience to the heart of God. We carry His presence into everyday situations, into our families, workplaces, schools, and streets. Love becomes the language of heaven expressed on earth. And though love is not always easy, it is always worth it. Every act of love plants a seed, and God is faithful to grow it. In a world that is often cold, divided, and distracted, your love can be a light. You may not always see the results, but your kindness matters. Your compassion has weight. Your forgiveness has power. So don't give up. Keep loving. Keep hoping. Keep choosing grace. Because when you love your neighbor, you don't just change their life. You also become more like Jesus. And in the end, that's the greatest goal of all. To love as he loved and to live as he lived.